Welcome back to the channel, guys. I've got a new review for you today. We're looking at the Racer X Mutant. This one is an HD version. All right, so this is the Racer X Mutant. It's a 4-inch unibody. I believe it's 3mm thick frame. It's an ultra lightweight. For motors, we are running the Emax RS1606 3100 kV on 4S. The all-in-one flight controller and ESC board is the JHEMCU 30 amp board. This is, we're running TBS Crossfire. This is an Immortal T, the full size. For props, I've got the Gemfan 4023 tri-blades. The antenna is the Emax Nano right-hand circular polarized antenna. It is Shark Byte, so it's not DJI. It is Fat Shark's entry into the HD realm for digital FPV. The camera is the Foxeer Digisight. It's an analog and digital camera. For the VTX, I am running the Whoop VTX, the Shark Bike Whoop VTX. It's a 25 milliwatt up to 200 milliwatt. We're running an XT30. The Whoop board does come with, and I believe the new 20x20 mid-range board comes with a capacitor as well. They recommend connecting a capacitor directly to the power. So I have one stuffed up in here, lengthened with some wires and run up underneath the canopy there for you. So, yeah, I dig it pretty dialed in. If you've been tuned into the channel for a bit, I have posted a few Digisight videos. We had some snowfall here in Tennessee recently, and then I did just post one, I believe it was yesterday, of an evening flight to show the evening capabilities. Now, the other camera that's currently available is the RunCam HD. The performance is pretty similar between the two. From what I've found, I think I do prefer the Foxeer. One of the benefits of getting the Foxeer camera is it does come with the MIPI cable that you connect the camera to the VTX, and in the RunCam version is not provided unless you purchase the beginner starter bundle there from Get FPV. So I was able to get this, I guess, kind of a pre-launch. They initially offered some packages there, including the VRX, the 20x20 VTX, an 80mm cable, and the camera. So I bought this at launch, I guess you would say, and then they released it to the rest of the non-beta testers. I was able to get in beforehand, but now they're sold separately. I think they may still be available as a bundle, and you can choose between the Whoop board or the mid-range 20x20 500 milliwatt VTX there for you at Get FPV. Hopefully it's coming to some other retailers shortly. I did place a couple orders for some more boards on Pyrodrone, but they're still in pre-order status, so hopefully those will be showing up shortly there. But I did go with the recommended UAV tech presets on this one as well. If you've watched my other video, I post a card up there in the video. It's a simple tune for Betaflight 4.2 and up. This one is running Betaflight 4.2.5. and I did flash BL-Heli S 16.71 beta, so I'm able to enable RPM filtering. It's working out really well. The motors are coming down cold. I did have to make an adjustment, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. All right, let's check the setup in Betaflight. We're going to go to the ports tab. UART 1 is set up for MSP for Shark Byte. UART 2 set up for Serial RX for the Crossfire Nano. All right, we got it set to props out. D-Shot 300 with bidirectional D-Shot enabled. There's 12 motor poles. Run 8K, 4K. And got the arming set to 180 degrees. And serial receiver is set to CRSF for Crossfire. All right, let's check the PIDs tab. I did run the UAV Tech presets, but I did have to dial down the P&D gain from 1.5 to 1.2. It's getting some oscillations there. D-Min has been disabled. On the rate profile there, I've got my rates 900 degrees per second. TPA and TPA breakpoint are defaults. And then these are the filter settings. The motors were coming down cool. These are the recommended presets there for a toothpick. So 1.5 is working great. And I do have the gyro RPM filter set to 1 there for the harmonics number per the presets as well. So this config is working out great. I did get the OSD working. I had to switch up the RX and TX pads on the flight controller. And I've just added warnings, battery average cell voltage, and the timer number 2. All right, let's get the weight. Looks like the dry weight is just over 151 grams. I did fly it on 2 different packs. I flew it on this Helination Talon 650 4S. It's coming in at 219 with the 650. And then also this Tattu 850 4S. Still coming in under 250 at 242.5 grams.
Just like me, to me it's a good thing. Another night ruined, I don't even know when we became this way. Now you're acting so different than when back when we had it easy. And now you don't believe me when I say I'll change. But how can I lose you now? Oh, the silence are way too loud. Yeah, 'cause I won't be okay without you every day. Baby, don't run away. Baby, don't throw our love away. Baby, don't throw our love away. Still instigating things, fucking up another perfect night when all you ever did was treat me right. You love and everything that I needed. I know it won't be easy, but darling, please believe me when I say I'll change. How can I lose you now? Oh, the silence are way too loud. Yeah, 'cause I won't be okay
back from the flight footage there. Yeah, I did get the tune dialed in today. I dropped the P&D mix filter, or I'm sorry, slider down from 1.5 to 1.3, and that eliminated oscillations that I was getting there. So it does feel pretty locked in. This is pretty much the only, well, with the exception of the Twiglet Mini and the Megabat, and I do have a Megabat build video coming soon for you guys, so stay tuned to check that one out. But pretty much built most of the collection there in the Racer X lightweight frames, and you know, I love them. The build quality is great, and they do have the chamfered edges there. It's a nice cut of carbon. So it does fly really well. I do also have an ET5. Now on the ET5, I'm running 1507. I think they're 2400 kV. So it's not nearly as powerful as this with the 1606 Emax motors. This thing is a rocket. So a lot of fun to fly. This is pretty much what I'm going to be flying here in the near future there. So it's nice to be able to use Byte reliably. I did have a few hiccups and growing pains there with the initial system there, if you've watched and tuned in. So to have the system up and running completely, it's always a pleasure. I was able to get the OSD working. It's a simple, if your OSD isn't working, switch your TX and RX pads on whatever you're using. Make sure you enable that MSP connection there in the ports tab, and it'll add those elements there. Now, they did post a link for a new manual. The original manual didn't show the whoop board. The new one does, and there is going to be a firmware update. I think they said before the end of the year, which is the 31st is coming up quickly upon us there. So I know it's been a crazy one this year. But so hopefully that'll add some new OSD elements, such as I think crosshair, craft name, and a few others. Now, before I got my OSD working, I was able to use the Foxeer built-in display, so I was able to get a timer there at least, since I didn't have battery voltage in the OSD, so I could kind of get an estimate. There was a few flights, especially around that 650, and then it did just drop out of the sky around 3 volts. Because, you know, I didn't have warning set up on my Tango and OpenTX for battery voltage. I am running Crossfire as always, so I'm not really worried about having link quality in the OSD, although it is nice, and when they do add that, I will put that up in the OSD. I think they also added throttle position as well as VTX channel. Now, I believe the VTX channels are similar to DJI's channels, as well as race band. So you can fly with analog pilots with this HD system, so it does mesh well. I don't know about long range, as you saw in the video. I did try to take it out pretty good ways. Like I said, that's 200 milliwatt. I do think one of the weak links is the antenna. How they have the whoop board, they have a cutout for you can run a zip tie. So, you know, if you're familiar with how you run Immortal T's there on the Crossfire Nanos, you run it across the board and then you heat shrink it, right? So kind of the same concept there. So the cutout is on this side of the board. The UFL connectors on this side. You run the antenna across the board and then use a zip tie to secure it. But by doing so, didn't leave a lot of extra antenna. So it's kind of like I'm running a stubby there, and you do want, you know, the antenna angled up so you can get maximum penetration there through trees and whatnot. A few other people did reach out to me on Facebook and suggest that I do check out the True RC, which I was already thinking about checking out True RC antenna, as well as maybe different antennas for the VRX. I'm just running some Foxeer Lollipop stubbies, so maybe some higher gain antennas like the VAS or True RC will give a pretty good improvement there for 200 milliwatts. You can fly behind yourself, not as good as you know, something like rapid fire or fusion. So one test I always do is go around my house. I sit underneath my covered porch on either side and fly around my house. On 25 milliwatt on most, like even like a Whoop VTX with rapid fire or fusion, I can go ahead and get through. With this one, it does start to break up, and as you'll see, you can get by, but you know, it's kind of sketchy. So you just have to be aware of the route that you're flying, which I mean is not a problem for me because I'm very familiar with the area that I'm flying. I fly mostly by my house and in my neighborhood. So, but anyway, I was excited to bring this to you. I believe this is the first shark bite Mutant that I've seen. Ultra lightweight. I know some people are putting these in. I believe a pod racer, TBS Source pod racer. I've seen one for that. Looks not optimal mounting, but hey, you got to do what works for you, right? So, but anyway, this looks clean. I'll post the meme of what the Vista quads look. I feel like they have like a real thick neck, and it's just the pod goes all the way up. I mean, this pretty much looks like analog, right? It's clean. You know, I do have these spacers, or standoffs rather, nylon standoffs. But I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that you would run around an ET5, because it doesn't mount directly on the wood board. This is slightly bigger there. You could also run a 20x20 in this if you want, but like I said, I just had the JHEMCU 30 amp board. It's been working well for me. So I was getting about close to 4 to 5 minute flight times there with the 850. Not quite 4 minutes, I'd say, on the 650, if you're giving it hell. So anyway, if you like what you see, tune in, smash that like button, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment. I always try to get back to you as soon as I can. Appreciate you guys. One of the reasons why I do this. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.